Assassin's Creed Shadows will be remaining there for a little bit longer, as Ubisoft just announced that the game is going to need an additional month or so, moving from February 14th now to March 20th. A little bit of extra time for some polish and for, I don't know, man, like what they're eventually going to do with this, because as this headline posits, will it be the end of Ubisoft? I kind of think they know that they have a gigantic bomb on their hands, and maybe, potentially, they're waiting for an opportunity to announce something that people can be excited about coming out of this studio. Like, I don't know, Splinter Cell trilogy remake. Like, remakes are all the hotness, and they do a fine job remaking the first 3 Splinter Cell games. That could get them a little bit of goodwill back. But that's a big if. I don't even know if they're capable of putting on a fresh coat of paint of something that used to be a big mover for them in the past. But they have to do something. Like, I don't know what their release schedule looks like past Shadows, but last year was really busy for them. It just also happened to coincide with 4 of the biggest bombs that they had ever released. Skull and Bones, X-Defiant, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, and then finally putting a bow on it with Star Wars Outlaws. It was a horrific multi-$100 million disastrous year. And by kicking this off with something that your flagship franchise, okay, as big as Watch Dogs could have been, they fumbled that from her off rip. I didn't even bother with the second one, and Legion don't even make me laugh. But Far Cry, like, people liked, I'll include myself in this one. I liked 3 quite a bit. Okay, well, about 75% of 3 up until Voss gets killed. Spoilers. And then you have to go against, I forget, the incredibly forgettable main villain over the top of it, who was controlling. It was such a stupid rug pull. They tried to fix that with Pagan Min as bad guy in 4, where they ended up doing a rug pull where you thought that you got him, but that ended up being an imposter. But yeah, eventually you do end up taking him out. I'm not really spoiling that game. Obviously, he's the big bad. You try to fight him throughout the game. That's all fine, well, and dandy. And people liked 5. I got bored out of my mind, mostly because it was just more 4, which 4 was more 3. And, well, Ubisoft has had an iteration problem for a very long time, not really differentiating their games, but just simply putting out the Ubi slop over and over again. It's just Shadows. This is a different kettle of fish here. Assassin's Creed has been long in the tooth when it comes to the formula for a while now. It's just with all of the additional stuff besmirching the feudal Japanese lore, or history. It's not lore, it actually happened. And then, Yasuke, we know all of that stuff, talked about it at length. And so realizing that, yeah, there's quite a bit of backlash to this. They really have to knock it out the park. It's just, they don't have the people in place to do that, because we've heard from the development team, half of the people working on this have never worked on a game before. Like, they are so devoid of talent at Ubisoft, one of the former biggest publishers in the entire industry, and they can't staff a studio with a high level of retention, and you just have churn at every level. Man, it really is. Like, this is going to be, as we've already known, a very transformative year for them in 2025. It's just, how quickly is this going to happen? Okay, so Ubisoft has delayed Assassin's Creed Shadows for the second time, pushing its release back to March 20th, 2025. Originally set for a November 12th release. Hilarious, right? So this is 5 months, okay? And I don't even know if they're going to hit that March 20th release date, okay? Because we've seen some gameplay, and they've been trying to hype this up a little bit, and it wasn't even that long ago. I think it was earlier this week where we talked about, why can't you pre-order this game? Wish listing, like, it's 114th or 112th, okay? Like, it's in the 100s when it comes to most wish listed games on Steam. You couldn't even put down the money if you were so inclined to do that? That's a little bit odd. The math wasn't mathin', if you will. So to think, the little gameplay snippets that looked exactly like the stuff that they were releasing prior to that original November 12th release date were to excite anybody. Like, all of your animations look stock, like your gameplay looks trash. It looks like you're trying to move somewhere closer towards Souls-like combat with some very light stealth tactics. It's like, ugh, man, you need killer gameplay, because we know that your narrative is never going to cut it. It hasn't for a long time. Like, Assassin's Creed has been flailing for a while since they cut out that Desmond storyline, which I didn't mind. It could have gone somewhere, ultimately didn't. But going back to this game could be catastrophic for Ubisoft, and it's possible the company's very survival banks on it. And given everything we've seen up to this point, along with a major decline in ongoing public sentiment, it's not looking good for the French developer. So yeah, Assassin's Creed Shadows now releases March 20th, and yeah, we have the official statement right here, so might as well read from it, right? Gotta give the devil its due. Dear players, we want to extend our heartfelt thanks for our incredible fans and dedicated teams for our unwavering support since our announcement in September to further refine and polish Assassin's Creed Shadows. Since November, we've been thrilled to share our progress through gameplay overviews with the overwhelming excitement has truly inspired us. Where's any of this stuff happen? Now listen, I like the idea where you guys are complimentary to your fan base and not antagonistic like you have been recently, so yeah, I do like that change of pace. But when you've been called out for lying as much as you've been called out for putting out a subpar product, not exactly a great foot to get on new ground with. Each week has brought valuable feedback to our community, and we've already made remarkable strides. And we believe a few additional weeks are needed to implement that feedback and ensure an even more ambitious and engaging day one experience. Accordingly, the new release date is March 20th, 2025. We remain committed to delivering a high quality, immersive experience fostered by ongoing dialogue between our players and development team. Right. Just like what you did by saying, oh, hey, Japanese fans, we're sorry for offending you. We're sorry that you guys took it that way. That's real high quality dialogue between your fans and your management, right? Or on one hand, you're saying, oh, we never really aim for historical accuracy, but in our historically accurate games, we try to aim for accuracy. Interesting. We know you're eager to learn more about Assassin's Creed Shadows. Nobody is. And we're excited to share that more updates will be coming your way very soon. Yeah, exactly. And the next time you have to release an update like this, at least you can use the same backing and potentially, just change out the date, okay? You already got it bolded, so you shouldn't be able to mess that up like you have with everything else. Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot mirrored this quality sentiment, emphasizing the game's ambition, while attempting to soften the blow, saying we are all behind our team's efforts to create the most ambitious Assassin's Creed opus of the franchise, and made the decision to provide an extra month of development to Shadows in order to better incorporate the player feedback gathered over the past 3 months that will enable us to fully deliver on the potential of the game and finish the year on a strong note. Finish the year. I guess they're talking financial year because the end of the fiscal 2024 year would be at the end of March. So yeah, if they are going to release it then, okay, in order to try and stem some of that disastrous year that they had. I wonder if Ubisoft had a worse year than Warner Brothers did. Because what was it, like halfway through the year, Warner Brothers, thanks to Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, reported a $300 million loss. Oof. I'd imagine Ubisoft is worse, but I wouldn't be surprised if, thanks to Rainbow Six Siege, they could mitigate their losses somewhat. But Star Wars Outlaws did have the biggest marketing budget that they've ever had with a project before. So this is the second delay for Shadows in the game meant to revitalize the franchise. The optics are troubling, but it's a far from the first troubling or concerning report on this title. And yeah, we could go through the history, or you could just simply take a look at all of the videos that myself and several other people have done on them and know that, yeah, this game is cooked, man. It really doesn't much matter if it comes out, because the next Assassin's Creed that has been announced is that gay lesbian witch coven that is set during the Salem witch trials, where it's like, okay, cool. Yeah, because that's what we want. Vigorous scissoring out there in the bush while people are set on fire, but it's like, this is supposed to be about assassins. It's like, shut up, bigot. You just don't like it because it's witches. And it's like, haven't we had enough examples recently of bad witches in media? Like Acolyte, Agatha, all along. Do we really need a video game adaptation of this stuff? So yeah, Assassin's Creed Hex already looks like it's down for the count. So that's why I'm thinking, perhaps Ubisoft is buying themselves some time to get something out there that makes them look at least competent as a studio moving forward. Because when it comes to Assassin's Creed, I mean, everything about this project has been a disaster. Ubisoft deeply disturbed by damning reports of abuse at Assassin's Creed Shadows support studio. Wait, what? Ubisoft has responded to a damning report of mental and physical abuse at Indonesian support studio Brandoville. The studio provided assistance to Ubisoft on the forthcoming Assassin's Creed Shadows, though it closed in August last year. The reports of abuse have emerged we are deeply disturbed by the recent reports surrounding Brandoville Studios. A Ubisoft spokesperson told Eurogamer, we strongly condemn all forms of abuse and thoughts with the affected employees. What are we talking about? Yesterday, a report from People Make Games detailed alleged abuse by Brandoville Commissioner Quan Cherry Lai, who ran day-to-day operations at the studio before its closure. The studio provided art and animation support for Assassin's Creed Shadows and Age of Empires 4. Okay. However, reports allege from 2019, the studio's closure in 2024, Lai abused multiple employees, ranged from imposing a strict work schedule and daily Christian worship, okay, not half bad, to forcing an employee to write lines like a school child, okay, humiliating her in front of colleagues. Well, what if she was bad at her job? Okay, I'm on this guy's side so far. And demanding a video of her slapping herself 100 times as punishment. He demanded that video. How did he receive that video? I don't know. I think further investigation is needed, but that type of strict enforcement is kind of what Ubisoft needs. I'm joking. Somewhat. Let's keep it a buck. The public perception of Ubisoft is absolutely in the shitter. Shadows, when it does come out, like the goose is already cooked on this one. It is going to be a gigantic bomb. It has got to be one of the best Assassin's Creed, if not the best Assassin's Creed game ever. It has to be a revolution for the franchise. Otherwise, if it's just good, it's not going to be enough. Because we know, even with the first delay, it was reported an additional $20 million was being added to this development cycle. What is this additional month going to do? Is it going to be, like, if we take a look at proportionality, another 5 million euros? Is that what's going to be added to the development cycle? What's ultimately going to be the budget on this one? How many millions of copies are going to have to ship? When it comes to Assassin's Creed, okay, they aren't foreign with the idea of shipping 7, 8-digit number of copies, okay, like Valhalla, Origins, all of these rebooted installments, they've sold in the 10s and 20s of millions, okay? But this one right here, I don't know, man, the public perception kind of got like the Bud Light halo around it. It's not good, and especially with Ubisoft and its recent track record, everything that has come out in the interim, not fantastic. They can turn it around. I just don't think they have the time, mostly because this also came out yesterday as well. Ubisoft today confirmed that leading advisors have been hired to look at transformational, strategic, and capitalistic options to extract the best value for stakeholders. So they're either looking at A, a wholesale buyout, B, strip mining IPs, or C, releasing what they have in the back catalog, not announcing anything else, and just closing down shop. I think a rumor of a 10-cent buyout is looking far more likely, and selling off additional assets, IPs, and franchises that they haven't used in order to try to float them a little bit further to release something that might resonate well with stockholders. Because when Shadows comes out and bomb, I mean, that 80% market cap that they've already lost in a couple of years time. What was the previous video we did on this? We went more into the details of that. What's going to happen? Because at least the illusion that Assassin's Creed is a successful, well-selling franchise, that bubble will get burst. What do they have left? I can't remember, and I'd never seen reports of how well Far Cry 6 did. Watch Dogs Legion, that was a disaster. The Tom Clancy games outside of Rainbow Six Siege, they haven't done jack with those in a very long time. It's a studio very much on the back foot. And so, yeah, if they announce a remaster of a beloved franchise, Splinter Cell seems a ripe for the pickings, mostly to familiarize their brand new staff on how to properly do stealth. That would be nice. Or hell, another Rayman game. Just do something that could actually appeal to people instead of appeal to fringe ideologues, because your recent track record has done just that, and that has led to you selling out as a studio, but not selling out your brand new releases. So Assassin's Creed Shadows, March 20th. Who knows, though? What comes first, the release of that game or a full-on Chinese takeover? Who knows? We'll have to see. We'll be following it up as new news comes along. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.